All right. BarstoolBuddhas are back, believe it or not. I'm Jai.
Rip.
Yeah, we've been gone about 3.5 months. We've been busy doing other stuff, and a lot of stuff has happened since we've been gone.
It has been. Jai's been on societal undercover work to see what's been going on around the world. I've been on sabbatical again.
Yeah, I went to India for 3 weeks, roasted my nuggets off. It was hot in India, so I almost become a global warming supporter, climate change. It was changing my climate. So I came back, and I spent almost 40 hours between the time I got on an airplane and the time I get back wearing a mask.
Yep, 40 hours.
Then 2 days later.
It's got to suck the life out of you.
2 days later, they said you didn't have to do it anymore.
No more mask.
No more mask. Oh, whoopee-doo. So don't ever let some little skinny-ass doctor tell you that you can wear that all day long and it doesn't bother you. Because let me tell you something. I really thought I had, how do you put this, additional brain damage? Additional brain damage, because I just couldn't focus. When I got off the plane, I'm standing at the carousel waiting on my luggage, and I watched it go around 4 times. And I'm like, oh, I'm in the airport.
Kind of looks like my luggage.
I'm in the airport, and I go out, and my wife's sitting out there at the door in the car, but she brought my car instead of her car. And I was waiting on her car.
And you just
and my mind was like, did I get off in the right city? Where am I? So that was a really interesting kind of strange thing to happen. But, I've been back in the airport since. Mm-hmm. I went on a business trip down to Tampa, and it was interesting. I've traveled all through COVID, going to hospitals where I work and things like that. And so I had to go when other people didn't go.
Yeah.
And over the 2-year period, the tension and the anxiety getting on a plane, the plane, it was like awful. People just really tense. And so I went to the airport to get on my plane. People were like, well, dude, I'm on vacation, man.
God, again.
Oh, it was, and the flight attendants, you could visibly see the lack of stress in their face. They were smiling. They were happy.
They've been stressed out for a couple of years now.
They're not the sheriff anymore, and they're very happy about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
They hated being that person.
And so there's a few people with masks on, and a lot of them are the older folks, the really old people traveling. And there was I'll be careful to say this because it was true. Every person from Asia that I saw, or of Asian descent or whatever, had a mask on. They tend to do that.
They've been doing that for decades.
But they all had them strapped on, some of them, 2 of them. But you know what? You do you. Mm-hmm. I'll do me, and I'll just be right there with you. You need to wear that mask. Well, God save you. God help you. Do what you need to do. But just don't tell me what to do anymore. No. But I'm so grateful for that. That one trip was like, it was business, but it's like, well, I feel like I was on vacation. It was great. So, but now that we got that on it, we'll talk about the bozos out there because it's a clown fest now, boy. I tell you what, I had to be very careful about talking about the President of the United States. But not too careful because he wouldn't remember it if he heard it anyway.
It doesn't matter.
But I mean, so many things going badly right now. So many things going badly. Ukraine, the abortion thing. Musk is buying Twitter, and there's Valium is flying off the shelves in the DNC. Things like that. It's just the economy's going to hell. Russia's trying to blow up the world. Now they want to
gas keeps getting more expensive.
What's the technical term for that we use? Shit show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complete shit show. And it's almost as if the people that are running, not just our country, but other countries, really just don't know what to do. In the old days, people hated Lyndon Johnson in the war. Some people didn't like Reagan. Yeah. People didn't like Bush. People didn't like Obama. People don't like who people don't like.
But it's one of two things. Either they don't know what they're doing, or they're doing it intentionally. And I think there's a little bit of both.
I think there's more of they don't know what they're doing, because it's such an immense problem with so many things happening at once. But it's a different, I just look at it, and maybe it's age talking now. Maybe I do have some maturity. Maybe. But the thing is, the caliber of people that we choose for our leaders seems to be declining. We've been playing the football game for so long. My team's got to win.
Yeah.
And my team won, and this is the captain, and we're going to win anyway, And like we said before, I feel so sorry for for Joe Biden. He is obviously in some kind of
They parade him out there, and
he's some kind of distress. You know, I mean, you can tell when he's walking that his Pampers are pinching. You know, it's just. I wouldn't let anybody's grandfather go through that. It's just disgusting. But the big problem is it affects us all. There's now a big war in Europe which threatens to escalate, and you got a guy over there who may or may not have cancer. He's on his way out. He wants his empire.
Mental issues as well.
And so, you know, we have real reason to worry about a lot of stuff. But don't give up. You have to keep trying, you know?
Never give up.
You can't ignore it, and you have to be compassionate. Like we said before, you need to be kind, but you got to work to fix it. It's not one of those things when you can go to the country for a week and go fishing and forget about it. I was gone we've been gone 3.5 months now, right?
Yep.
You come back, it's another world. It's a different world. Every time you turn on the TV, something's changing. You have to keep up. The grocery store shelves are empty. The baby formula is going away. Just some really weird things you never would expect to have happen. No. And so, you know, it's one thing for us to sit here and talk about it because you already know that there's 50,000 people on the internet and TV telling you this all the time. We're not trying to be political. We're just two simple guys from the middle states here, just saying, hey, it's happening to us too. I know it's happening to you. Don't lose focus. Don't lose purpose. You got to keep your chin up because you know what? You really don't have a choice. If you give up, you're done.
You gave in.
You give up, gave in, but you're done. And we have to keep going on. We have to muddle through these things as unpleasant as they are.
We've got our children, our future grandchildren. Those are the things that we've got to keep moving forward for. Yeah. If you give up on yourself, that's on you, but there's legacies and the rest of us that have a future that we believe in, and we just hope it keeps going forward.
If you look at this like this, there's 335 million people in the country, whatever they say there is nowadays. The goal in the past was to hear all sides and try to find a consensus somewhere near the middle so that everybody got their fair say and their fair share. We're trying to run this country now from one side or the other. Yep. And it doesn't matter which side you're on. It will not work effectively. It will not work efficiently. And the longer it goes on, it destroys the capacity of the system.
As long as we're adversaries, we'll never meet somewhere in the middle and make some kind of agreement.
No, and some people's idea of meeting in the middle is get close enough to beat the other guy to death, and that ain't gonna work either. So, like I said, you work to fix it. Be compassionate, but you have to be focused. You know, sometimes compassion, and I got this from the Dalai Lama. I hope he didn't sue me. But sometimes being compassionate is saying no. You have to say no because the compassion that you give out of empathy or sympathy is probably not real compassion, and it's probably not going to benefit that person. It's like the old story. I'm walking down the street and I see a guy who's laying on the concrete, drunk out of his mind, begging for $1 to buy more booze. I feel sorry for him, so I give him the $1 for the booze. Am I really being compassionate? No. I get him off the sidewalk. I take him down to the diner, give him some coffee, and buy him a breakfast. Meal. That's compassion. And that model probably doesn't work for some of this. I mean, I don't see Vladimir going to lunch with Biden. It's not going to happen, but there's got to be some way in the middle. If the people of each one of these countries decide they don't want to be incinerated, we might find a way to get along or tacitly just let each other be.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I've noticed in the community, though, when you go into a place like, can I say Kroger?
Sure.
Kroger's not my favorite place. I don't mean to beat them up, but I don't like the Krogers here. But anyway, the people during COVID were glaring at each other. If you didn't have the mask or they had the mask, or they looked at you like you were the one that was going to give them COVID.
Yeah.
Those looks are going around a lot.
Oh, you got some of those stares in some airports one time recently.
Oh, yeah.
Took your mask off to eat your sandwich, and a woman looked at you like she wanted to kill you.
Man, she wanted me gone. But I've been married 3 times. I know that look. I know that's what that meant. I'm not making this up.
There's a dagger in them eyes.
There's one where. But the point is this, you know, and this is hard for me to say because the people that know are going to go, this guy's saying this? Now that you don't have a mask on, or most of us don't have a mask on, we can smile at people or look at them in a positive way. And, you know, I've been trying to do this because it's not my strong suit. I'm a nagging, grouchy old bastard. But I walk through airports, I walk through stores, and I make myself smile at people or say hello or good day. And you know what? they look a little surprised.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 of them will smile and say something nice back.
And I agree with that. I'm glad that the masks are off and somebody can see you smile, but I also miss being able to sneer when I needed to.
Well, listen, if you had teeth like I do, there was times when the mask was a great help. It was really, it's really good. So, but, not to preach and carry on about this, but you know what? It's going to be a lot of little things that make this better for the common person in the community. Gas is going to continue to go up. There doesn't seem to be any problem to the woes. The economy is not doing well, and it's going to get a bit tense. Yeah. And that generally leads to discomfort between human beings and problems. But everybody is kind of in this thing together at this point.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. Even those people who've come to town with their Audis and drive 85 miles an hour on the turnpike.
It's still affecting them.
We need to be kind to those people too. But we need
the ones that have the most to lose.
That's true. We can send the Oak Ridge PD welcome wagon out to see, to send them the obey the law ticket or whatever. But seriously, one of the great things about this country has always been that so many different types of people manage to live together for so long, give toleration, allow the freedom and the liberty to the other people, even people they really didn't like. But what's happened, I think, is this idea of diversity has actually become divisiveness.
Division.
And forcing people to respect each other, forcing them, and to push people together who don't want to be together. It has to be an organic process. It's got to come from the heart. You can mandate that people do something like the Chinese are keeping people locked in their apartments. That's not going to work. That's not a political statement. That's a human statement. Right. It's not going to work. You can't force people together. They will rebel against it. Human nature is don't tell me what to do. The mask thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
No matter how good or bad the mask was or wasn't, there was a proportion of the people who did not want to be told what to do. So if you tell me that I've got to go down the street and I got to be best friends with people that I don't like or they don't like me just because, it's going to cause tension. If you tell me these are great people, you're missing out. That's a better message, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's a better message. And don't scream at me about cultural appropriation or this or that.
We used to be a great melting pot.
Yeah.
Now we're scooping out what we want from this side of the pot, putting it over here, and dividing this to the other side, and
it's a melting pot now. If they're scooping out the ingredients, what they're left with is just the drizzle. I don't know what's left in. What's in there, but not to be ongoing about this, but we're going to have to start doing something person to person out here, because if we're waiting on the leaders, and even if we had the best leaders, there's such a mess right now. It's going to take a while to sort it out. We have to get along with the people around us. You live in a community. We said this before. Start with your community. Start with your neighbors. Start with your family. Cultivate some way to smile once in a while, to help the other person, and we'll get along a lot better. So enough of the pontificating.
And the other thing we always say, practice gratitude. There are things in your life to be grateful for. It doesn't matter what level of life you're at. You may be going through some bad times, but there is something to be grateful for.
Yeah, right now, the most two graphic representations you can see when you get off this video, click to another YouTube video or go to the news, the people in Ukraine. Either side, the Russian soldiers or the Ukrainians, you see dead bodies everywhere. You see people just dying by the hundreds and blowing each other up. And what about the communities that they're doing this in? Those areas used to be neighborhoods. They used to be cities. People lived there. They worked there. They had lives just like you and me. And today they don't have it.
Right.
In China, where they've locked everybody down because they want zero COVID, they're welding people in apartment buildings. People can't even go out to farm. They're not allowed out. These are people who had a life. Might not have been the life you had, but it's a life. They did what they did. They went where they went. They had markets. They had family. And now they don't have that.
They're under totalitarian control.
You still have some freedoms, and we still have good things in this country.
For now.
Be grateful for it. Don't sit on it. Keep it going. Be part of the solution. Okay, so I guess that's all I got to say about all that. It's probably too much, but
covered a lot. But
I hope we didn't get too specifically political, because we're probably not qualified for that. But you know what?
Oh yeah, we pay attention. We see what's going on.
Yeah, we do pay attention, and that's what we want you to do. Pay attention. And the thing I had to learn, I didn't learn it till I was like 55, and I'm still not real good at it, is learn to respond and not react. And you need to contemplate that for this week. There's a huge difference there. And trust me, I have a lot of problems in the past because I didn't know the difference.
It's obvious nowadays. People react to everything. They don't respond. They react. They protest. They go above and beyond.
Just because you're offended don't mean you're right.
Exactly.
So I think we'll cut this off for this week and say we'll try to get back sooner. If you don't agree with that, put a comment, say take another 3 months off, whatever you want to do. So,
we'll be back soon.
We'll be back.
Welcome back to the Barstool Buddhas.
See you later.
Peace out.